talk a little bit of kind of what today's event is, and then just kind of events in general.
Well, I think that your observation there is really interesting, and I'm actually really excited that just we chose to do this today, and it happened to be here to give us a chance to talk about this.
Yeah.
This is about, again, bigger than basketball. And so there's maybe two different thoughts here about how the Thunder looks at this. The first is that this is a response in a post-COVID environment. The annual Spelling Bee has never been held in a venue like this. This is typically going to be in a hotel ballroom or, in some innocuous, event center, as a matter of just year after year, you just kind of get into a habit and you do things a certain way. Well, COVID hit in 2020, and it disrupted everything. And the Spelling Bee was trying to figure out how to pivot, just like everybody else. What do we do? How do we continue to deliver this experience, and how do we continue to work with the school systems and the Spelling Bee organizers, and how do you solve a problem in that moment of time? Well, a common denominator there was American Fidelity. American Fidelity is heavily involved in the schools and in reading programs, and in this particular case, the Spelling Bee, and they are a partner to the Thunder. And so through a course of conversations and opportunities, we offered to host the event here in the arena because we could. The building was available. We have always had eyes open for community impact, and this just aligned with how we are already connected to schools and to youth reading and development programs. So it's kind of a natural fit. Well, here we are a few years later, and we're still doing it, right? Because it's become something we're really proud to be in partnership with. And to your point, we might be sitting in this 500,000 square foot venue, and we have 18,000 seats in the building, and yet we're hosting 30 kids today. But they're going to have an experience that'll be, a lifetime memory for not just the kids and the parents, but everybody involved today. We have all their names up on the LED screen behind me. Thunder Vision will be here to televise the event internally and put them up on the big Thunder Vision. We actually have them on the court, and they have all of this like really detailed experiences from how they enter the building and to how they're hosted and all the accommodations. And it speaks volumes to our entertainment team and our community impact group, our community engagement team, of how do you treat people? How do you bring people into our ecosystem and deliver an unparalleled experience? We can ask ourselves that on a nightly basis about Thunder games, but we also extend that same courtesy and that same amount of detail to a youth basketball clinic or a coding camp at the Thunder Launchpad or a court dedication somewhere in the state of Oklahoma or a Spelling Bee. That for us, it's about how do you put the brand out and have a huge impact in a very powerful and meaningful way. I think the other part of the illustration here is that it's also incumbent upon us that we can do things like this and help elevate other brands and other organizations and other events. And so I think about just maybe 6 weeks ago, there was a really awful story of a local high school where their basketball gym was flooded. Something happened and it flooded overnight, and it ruined the floor. And so the boys and girls basketball team were now stranded without a home, and they had to kind of hodgepodge to finish out their season. Well, we caught wind of that, and we through our relationships with the school systems and the public schools athletic programs, and in partnership with the arena, ASM as the venue operator, we all came together and said, can we host that high school basketball game? Yeah. And so the boys and girls teams from this high school played their senior night game here at Paycom Center.
Oh, that's so cool.
And you think about that experience. As a high school athlete,
so
this
awesome.
is your final game. This is your senior final.
Yeah.
And you have this terrible disaster that's potentially ruined your season or changed the course of your season. And you culminate that experience by playing on the floor of the NBA home team, the Oklahoma City Thunder at Paycom Center, with all your, the parents and all the friends and all your classmates were here cheering. We had more than 1,000 people here cheering on that boys and girls team. And it was just another example of how can we be responsive to opportunities in the marketplace? How can we leverage our relationships and that trust that we've developed through all these years of being involved in our community and provide a meaningful experience? We're also developing Thunder fans. It's not lost on us that that's an opportunity for us. Not unlike the parents and the kids that'll be here today, they're developing hopefully an affinity for the Thunder that'll obviously pay dividends for us down the line. That's a part of the equation. But we lead with our heart. We lead with the Thunder way, and we lead with this ability to have an impact in our community. And so the Spelling Bee is an example of that. hosting a basketball game, on a Tuesday night in February is an example of that, and then all the other things that we like to be involved in.